Good morning, YouTube. We're back again with the Versys X-300, and this time we're going to do Section 6 of the Oregon BDR. The last time we had this bike out, we did a bunch of twisty roads, and then we hit some dual track trails in an OHV park. Although capable and fun, I don't think that that's necessarily what the core demographic of buyers wants to do with this type of bike. So our adventure today is going to be a lot more, I think, representative of what those buyers are seeking to do. And that's going to be forest roads and exploring, hitting up some cool lakes and campgrounds, and that sort of adventure riding. So I'm really excited to see how it does because I believe this is going to be a lot more within this bike's niche. And I don't want to waste much more time, so let's just get on the road. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We're going to leave the beautiful Clear Lake over here. We're going to head past Timothy Lake and then all the way down to Detroit Lake, which will be the end of Section 6 of the BDR. So let's go. Well, this road is busted. Yeah, so Section 6 of the BDR is supposed to be, I think, the most chill section, which is kind of why I wanted to tackle it on the Versys. Again, I don't own this bike. It was lent to me, and you know, the person who's lending it to me is placing an enormous amount of faith in myself that I won't crash it or break it or do something dumb with it. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to go take this out into a place that I can't get it out of. And the main thing being some of the southern sections of the BDR, you know, those are really sandy and pretty gnarly, and even though we made it through dual track trails on this, the tires that are on it, which are probably more than halfway through their lifespan, weren't really great to begin with for off-road, and being in sand, this thing would probably just sink its way to China, honestly. So this section being an easier section, and I'm pretty sure that it's open all the way through, should give us a great chance to really get out there without risking it for the biscuit too much. Now I'm really excited to see what this section is all about. Earlier in the year at the Dork of the Road campout, I did sections, well, I did all of Section 4 and I did part of Section 5, and those were a bit gnarly. And so, you know, I think that the Section 6, from what I've seen, is going to be a little bit more chill, and I kind of hope it is. And I think it's going to be perfect for the Versys. I think it's going to be a really relaxing day of cruising through the woods. We're also going to try a new navigation method for this trip. And what I've got right here is Gaia. I've never used the Gaia app before, but when you go to download the Oregon BDR maps, there's an option to import directly to Gaia. And I thought, well, it seems like there's a good integration already built there, so let's try Gaia out. I'm on a 7-day free trial just to see how it works. And that's mostly because my main GPS that I use on my other two bikes, which is the Garmin Zumo XT, obviously I don't have a mount on here, and I didn't have time to wire one up or have an extra one laying around. I had to rip it off another bike. Didn't want to do that, so we're trying out Gaia. As a backup GPS in my tail bag, I have a separate Garmin Montana 700i with InReach technology that has this route loaded on it. So if I feel like I'm not getting what I need to out of Gaia with the offline maps downloaded, I can instead jump to that and at least use it as a reference point so I can look for my corners. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna give this a shot. Oh, it looks like we're finally hitting some dirt. So which way do I want to go here? Forest Road 240, that's that road right there. So we actually do want to go around this corner. It's weird to read a map like this. I've never used this type of perspective while riding or while driving, so I've always used something like the Zumo XT that is showing the direction that you're driving from like a third-person perspective. I'm barely into Section 6, by the way. So Section 6 actually starts at this gas station in Government Camp, and you have a little short little jaunt down Highway 26 before you bump off right next to Clear Lake. I rode about halfway around Clear Lake before I stopped to film the intro and then get all the cameras set up and ready to go. So I'm a few miles in. My total trip today is 56.3. I think by the end of the day we're going to be over 200 miles. It's going to be a wicked awesome day on the bike, and again, thank you to the person who lent me this. I really, really appreciate it. It's an awesome opportunity. So anyways, I think that this is a good time to kind of cue the music and just get into the ride. Let's go. Look at how gorgeous that is. This entire lake, Summit Lake, is just glassy smooth. I can't believe it. It's so beautiful. It looks like there's some people hanging around, or at least I see a car here, but I don't know where anybody is. And it's the end of the season, so there's not a lot of campers, but man, how beautiful. Okay guys, so we made it to Summit Lake. I think we're roughly a third of the way through section 6. So far, it's just mostly been fast gravel, but there's been a few more foresty tight sections. Still not quite dual track territory and pretty quick to move, but a little bit more tight and rough than I thought it was going to be. That's really made this section pretty fun. I'm having a great time. I'm going to hang out at the lake here for a little bit, just take a break, get some water, and then we're going to jump back on the bike and we're going to head down to Olallie Lake, and then I think the next stop after that is Detroit. That's going to be kind of the last 2/3. So I'll see you there. Okay, we're on our way out of Summit Lake and down towards Olallie. It does seem to be working pretty well though, for all intents and purposes. Like, it hasn't lost signal, and like, I'm definitely in an area where there's no cell signal. Like, we are way out in the middle of nowhere. The fact that this is still tracking and it seems to update really fast, like live update, is doing an amazing job. So honestly, I'm really impressed with Gaia so far. It's really working good. Now that said, you know, will it work great on a cloudy, rainy day or on a snow day or something when the weather is a little, you know, less nice out? I don't know. But I think it's kind of worth testing. So I think maybe what I'll do is at some point I'll come out to some of these areas with both this and my Zumo XT and see which one of them, you know, connects and navigates better, if, you know, if either one is, or if they just both work great. Who knows? We'll see. But for now, let's just keep this thing rolling. Also, man, beautiful fall colors coming in. I love it. This is such a gorgeous time of the year to be riding. Give it another week or two and this stuff's going to be like in full fall color. And yeah, how amazing. Nice. Guys pulling wheelies over there. Dang. Yeah, it is wild out here. Look at this crazy, rocky, burned up stuff. It is insane. I've seen a lot of burned areas, but I really haven't ridden off pavement through, I think, any of them. Some sections I've ridden, they were a little bit burned up. This is like fully burned up. And I guess there's a little bit of green in here, but geez. I've never been down to this area before, and I didn't know what it looked like before it burned up, but I imagine it was pretty crazy with these insane rocky hills and all these trees. That said, it looks pretty wild now. And I'm a little surprised that even after that 2020 fire, I'm not seeing a lot of little trees restarting to grow. In other areas they are. Oh man. Look at that. That is incredible. Gosh, you know, Oregon never ceases to amaze me, and places like this are just mind-bogglingly good. I wish I could hang out here longer, but I'm running out of daylight, and I really got to get to getting so I can get out of the woods before it's dark out. I was going to film some of the highway ride back, but there's just no way I'm going to have time for that. So I think I'm going to film as much as I can down past Olallie, and then after that, it's just going to be riding back on the highway in the dark. So anyways, I'll catch you guys probably after the fact. We'll have to film a wrap-up on day 2 or something like that. All right, let's get to getting. That was a cool Triumph Scrambler there. Check that out, that's Olallie Lake. Beautiful out there. I think next summer I'm gonna have to ride down this way and make this kind of like a destination stop. Like we'll leave early in the morning, unlike I did today, and we'll ride down, we'll spend a good chunk of the afternoon or maybe even the night up here. Jesus. Look at this place. A couple of people enjoying a canoe down there. God, it's just amazing. I can't get enough of Oregon, you know, this place is crazy beautiful. And we got a car coming up here. Okay. gorgeous. I know that this is a really secluded lake and it's harder to get to. That's probably why it's so beautiful. It hasn't been trampled on by a ton of people, although it has been burnt down apparently. But, man, just gorgeous. I love these secluded spots like this. There's nobody out here this time of year too. It's the very end of the season and it's just quiet. You know, a couple people in a kayak, one person in a truck, and some people passing through on the BDR, but that's about it, you know. If you don't mind it being cold out, I can highly recommend camping up here at Olallie Lake. At least just from an initial view, right? Like, I don't really know what it's like to camp here, but I can't imagine it's bad. It's so freaking gorgeous. Alright, well, we're leaving Olallie Lake, so I'm going to shut up and just keep riding. And I don't know that I'll even have enough battery power to get down to Detroit. So I might cut this part away and then we'll pick it back up in Detroit. Wow, we are really out there. That's Horseshoe Lake, and this is Horseshoe Lake Campground, I guess. Yeah, Horseshoe Lake. Cool spot. Right in this big, like, crater looking thing. Dang. This has been the most technical section so far. I'm actually really surprised because this was right up to a couple of campgrounds. I kind of thought this would be one of the easier sections. Typically, roads going to campgrounds specifically, especially like state-run ones, they're not as ridiculous as some of the others. But this is pretty intense. And I gotta say, this is by far the most difficult part of Section 6 that I've done yet today. And keep in mind, we're about 2/3 of the way through. Also, I forgot to mention too that I'm going down to Detroit, which really means I'm going backwards. I'm headed towards Section 5. So if you're counting from the bottom up, I'm headed south across Oregon, not northwards. Holy balls. There's two ways you could go. There's a shorter way and there's a longer way. This is the longer way. And I didn't know which one was going to be harder. I probably should have looked. I'm sure there's some information out there. I kind of assumed that Olallie Lake with the campgrounds was going to be the easy one. But, like I said, that was pretty darn technical right there. I think we're gonna make a switch back here. Yeah, this is gonna have to get us over that ridge, I suppose, huh? So where are we? Oh boy. Yeah, we probably got a ways to go before this stuff chills out. Holy shit. Yeah, boys, I really thought this was gonna be... Oh. I really thought this was gonna be the chill way. I didn't realize I was gonna be crawling in first gear over this rocky bullshit. While also sitting here wishing that I was moving faster because I'm running out of daylight. And you know, this thing doesn't have LED lights or anything, but it does have a pretty decent headlight. I'm sure I'll be able to crawl out in the dark if I have to. And I will probably not still be in this type of terrain by the time it is dark. But I would rather not. I would just rather not. When it comes down to it, I would like to hit the pavement before I'm out of daylight. Thank goodness this bike has phenomenal crawl control. That first gear is just stellar. We're up to 4 bars on heat. I gotta get some moving going so that I don't get this engine too hot. I don't want to say anything and jinx myself right now, so we're just gonna keep going and hope that I don't. I don't jinx myself by just thinking it. Oh, yep, I would have jinxed myself. I kind of did. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Oh, no, we want to go first here. This road is not nice enough for second gear. We are gonna go first. Nice and slow crawl. I'm not even doing a good job of picking a good line, but amazingly, the Versys is not bombed out yet. Even if I do, there's an aftermarket skip plate from T-Rex on here. I'm pretty confident in its ability to protect the motor, but I gotta be honest, this is much rougher than I was planning on tackling with this bike today. Let's see if we can't get some airflow, get the bike cooled down. Some low RPM airflow. I think we'll be okay. There we go, we're already down a bar. It'll cool down pretty quick, but this bike does get hot if you're, well, doing what I'm doing and trying to crawl through rock gardens. My goal is to not get this thing to where I have to stop and wait for it to cool down, because we just don't have the time today. Like, we gotta keep moving. Jesus. I feel like I'm on a movie set. Like, this is crazy. You know? I mean, just look at it out there. Oh, this is probably the best. We're getting some airflow and we're going really slow, or we're like moving along. Whatever. Yep. What I meant to say was we're just idling along basically, but we're moving. So we're getting airflow without running a bunch of RPMs. Oh, Jesus. Alright, that's what I get for looking at my map. I don't want to go over that. That looks bad. Jesus. I definitely liked going up better than I like going down right now. Oh my goodness. They're probably wondering what in the hell I'm doing out here on this straight back. Okay, we gotta get more airflow again. We're getting hot. Come on, cool down. Oh, Jesus. More of this stuff. There we go, we're down a bar. Trying to get some of that heat soak out. Okay. Let's hope that this type of road persists. That's cool. Bunch of bikers. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is really sweet terrain. Like, although challenging, and I mean way more challenging than I was anticipating on this ride, I gotta say, it is pretty cool. You know, this type of rocky stuff, there's a lot of it in Oregon, but this is even more rocky than I'm used to. Oh man, it smells good out here. It smells like forest. Like that fresh, or not fresh, but it smells like fall forest, you know? has kind of like that change of the season smell to it. Just love it. I'm just gonna coast here down this hill. Holy shit. This is gonna give us a chance to just put a little air across the radiator while the engine's not running and let it chill out a bit while we coast down this rocky nonsense. This sounds hilarious. Just all my shit jangling about. Oh my god. Wow, still kept some momentum going. Whew. Yeah. I'm pretty convinced I took the hard road, and that if I had gone the other way, it would have been easier. I'm gonna have to take a look later and see if that's right, or if the other one was harder. I doubt it. This is some pretty technical stuff. It's a good thing that, because I've thought about going to Olallie to camp before with my car, and it's a good thing that I didn't just try and drive my car out across this. You know, I don't know that I would take anything other than some kind of like lifted four-wheeler drive over this type of terrain. You know, this stuff's pretty gnarly, and I wouldn't want to kick a rock up into something it shouldn't hit. You can always take a bike though. You know, if even this little Versys X-300 can do it, I think most adventure bikes probably can. Hell, some not adventure bikes probably can. Oh. Holy balls. Hi! Squeeze past you here. Hey, look at that. We lost another bar of heat. Coasting down that hill, man. That did it. Well, I'm really glad I didn't shut the cameras off at Olallie and say I'm about to run out of battery anyways, and just kept filming, because I would have missed this. And this has been a little ridiculous. After all those fast sections of gravel, I thought to myself, well, there's a better chance that I'll make it all the way to the end with battery before dark, because the BDR's been so fast already. But yeah, I'm really questioning that logic now. I don't know that either of those things will happen. Having battery left or daylight. We don't have a hill for coasting anymore, so if I get it hot now, I might be a little hosed. The most ridiculous part of this isn't the Versys, it's that I'm on street tires with panniers, and I'm sure every person I see way out here in these ridiculous mountains is probably thinking, look at this idiot just jacking around on a bike that really needs some choice upgrades. That said, I actually feel like I'm moving along pretty confidently here, despite the rocks and the rough terrain and all of that. Like, we're kind of just humming along. Now, that being said, I do want to make the caveat that For me, this is comfortable and reasonable as a terrain and a pace and a setup on a bike. But I can't speak for anybody other than myself. Would I tell a novice, oh, don't worry, just throw on handguards and a bash plate and go? No. I would say make sure that you have some more terrain appropriate tires than what I've got on here, and absolutely 100% do some other off-road, do some practicing, do some just regular gravel roads, and work your way up to these gnarlier kind of rocks before you commit to doing a BDR or a section of a BDR like this, because this is, you know, fairly challenging, especially if you're not set up appropriately, which I certainly am not. I would not say this is the appropriate setup for this ride. Does it work? Am I doing it? Yes. Could I make this a lot easier on myself? Absolutely. And to that end also, I want to say, like, I do consider myself a novice rider, especially on big, heavy adventure bikes. I don't have that much experience. I've been riding dual sport and little trail bikes, dirt bikes, since I was around 8-9 years old, on and off, with years in between where I didn't ride anything. And I've only been on adventure bikes for about 2 years. So I definitely don't consider myself to be an expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm also not brand new to it either. So, you know, like I said, I don't want to give the impression that if you're new, you should buy a bike, take it out to a place like this, get on a BDR with street tires, and you'll be fine. You might not. You know, I have to work tomorrow. At this rate, I'm going to end up camping in the woods. And that's not what I wanted for myself today. I last minute invited a friend, and he said no, and then reminded me that I can't invite him like literally the day before to do a section of the BDR, which is good, because first of all, I need to start planning things more firmly if I'm going to ask people to go with me. And secondly, he has to leave on a flight at like 3 in the morning. And I'm going to get back late, I think. Alright, well, I just got down to NF42. This eventually becomes 224 and heads back into Detroit. There's about 15 more miles of off-road to go down to Detroit and finish out Section 6. Unfortunately, the sun's going down, and if I try and do that, I'm definitely going to be in the woods after dark. And it's a Sunday, so I have to work tomorrow, which means I'd rather not be stranded somewhere overnight. That said, I'm going to have to bail out and just get back home. It's going to be long dark well before I get there, so I'm going to keep this really short and get out of here. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I'd appreciate it a lot. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.